trained so that we had a vernacular of what we already knew to be to professionalize it. We are credible messengers, but all of y'all are credible messengers. And one of the ways that helps us do our job is when we grew up, we spoke to people. And when you speak to somebody, it makes it hard for them to want to do harm to you. And so that's a tool that we all can do. You don't have to wait tomorrow. You can, how you doing? Because a lot of times we're all one community and we're all going through a lot, and just how you doing, how's your day going, will kind of like settle the ice and let them know that we are community. The Community Safety Coalition is something as simple as picking clean up around yourself, because we believe trash and dirty environments add to the violence, and it adds to the negativity in our community. So if you see a piece of paper on the ground, just pick it up. So that builds bonds right there. And it helps with the climate of crime. Like a lot of the work that Safe Passage do is just building relationships. And in building the relationships over time and cleaning up, the people feel like they're a part of it and they want to always know what to do. Where we are right here. We're right here. One thing I've seen with the Safety Coalition, just by being out and being vigilant and being loving, the righteous is gonna prevail. This work that we doing gonna prevail. All we have to do is just keep being professional and keep doing the work. We win in the end. It's just a struggle. And nothing good come without a struggle. You go in the gym, you don't lift no weights, you don't get no definition and no progress. So we're gonna keep doing the work.
To my people in them parks and places, grinding. To my skin folk, dark in the faces and shining, keep shining. To my people on the block where the sun is a clock and the only way to make it out is slinging that rock, you better. See, I'm from Sark City, that jaunt that sit on the bay. You hungry? Go down Church Street and hit Watergate. This is our city. Where the streets ain't right, you hit a pothole, you cook, but you'll be all right. Behold, the green and gold. This the city of Spartans. This that nuck. If you buck, they see us get disheartened. We them Commodores, Comets, Bookers, Pilots, and Titans. Academic excellence, our achievement is heightened. 2 up, 2 down. We are that shit out with pride. And downtown for the summer, we was riding the tie. I say again, I'm from the city of the parks and places where everybody got a cousin. Shit, we probably related. I'm from Sark City. I'm made. M-A-D-E, that's make $1 every day. I'm from the city of them hustlers, them dreamers, them soldiers, hyenas. We take the cards we was dealt, they get rich, make you see it. And the weather crazy out, but when summer come, we be ready. And everybody outside with Ed, and Eddie. From the block to the beach, the outlets to town center. If we hungry, fat Phillies in the red store if we don't want no filling. So I remember curveball in the summer, always bumping the head. The water parks was always broke, we used the hose instead. The candy lady down the block making sure we was fed. And if I seen them street lights, boy, I knew I was dead. Remember pushing down the block past that one pink van, and we ain't leaving if they shoot, but 12 come, but we ran. Remember skipping water breaks so mama ain't get heated, cooling off under oaks on the curbs we seated. Remember Kool-Aid cups, hot Cheetos, and candy. Just some dirty ghetto kids, not related but family, so I send love to my city. I send love to the folks that make it all worth living. I send love to the culture, and I send love to the struggle. All my people in them. I send love to the love everybody. I send love to my my kinfolk. I'll be dark in the faces. I send love to my sandboxes and love to my day ones. I send love to the haters, but hate whoever got to say something. And I'm from Sark City, where it's eat or be eaten, where you could lose to the current, but you'll never be beaten. And I'm from Sark City. That's that concrete bay, where you could swim through the crowd, or you could get swept away. Norfolk.
I'm very familiar with the Newark street team. Ray and them actually came here. Ray was actually my counterpart inside Cohort 3 of CDI LA. And recently, I've been certified and trained to partner with Dr. Chico T and MCT training. I do training and technical assistance across the United States, reducing homicides in the Black and brown community and working with people and organizations and institutions to help reduce that. I said that's a lot to be said. I said that in spaces, but I'm actually a young kid who was born in Portsmouth, Virginia, And the reason why I know that in practice I do work is because I'm the person that was the shooter.
Come on.
I spent 25 years incarcerated as a 16-year-old. I was sentenced to 56 years in Virginia State Prison, 1994 to 2019. 2019, I was released from prison, came home. I was one of the 91% of people to reoffend within 6 months. In 18 months with a 20-year probation over my head, I had exceeded everything it is to do with probation and parole. I advocated to the courts to ask for all of our paperwork, what was needed of me to be released for probation and parole, because there's policies and procedures that's everywhere. One thing I educate to my young people and people that I work with around the nation is that a made-up mind is the most powerful thing that you can possess in the world. How a person sees you doesn't dictate who you are. I always say that sometimes, as I said earlier, when we're looking at the scope of how it went down, we're talking about interrupting the cycle of violence, talking about power in the polls, and talking about environmental injustice. One thing that I educate on when I go to anywhere and talk about violence is the first thing I ask any government agency, any jurisdiction, anything. When we're having a conversation about violence, the first questions I ask is, how do you define violence? There's a World Health Organization definition of violence, and there's a United States definition of violence. So if you tell me you are addressing violence from a physical force that creates harm and danger, then you're talking about what happens in America. The reason why crime isn't populated in other countries around the world, because the World Health Organization definition of violence is if you do it by power or physical force, meaning that people in position of power create structured systems that create systemic issues, but we always talking about how do we address this here.
The sun is warming up my neighborhood. Summer should be a time when kids are free to be outside, exploring what's new for the future. As I step out, children are running not for fun, but because bullets are flying. Seeing the police at someone's house because their loved one's eyes closed too soon. Where I'm from, no one ever seems to know what happened, so the bad people always get away and the cycle continues. Now my grandma's afraid to let me play outside. She wants to protect me from the booms we hear. Still, I don't want to live in fear. Sometimes I wonder what it must feel like to be in that victim's shoes, so I could tell the world how scared they were, so I could let them know they weren't ready to go. Another loved one's eyes closed too soon.
So we just came off of primary election, won by Mr. Fadahi and a group of people, many of whom were just talking about believe in a message of civil rights. The city belongs to all people. Justice and integrity are not for sale, cannot be bought. And when ordinary citizens, grassroots people who are in this room who say they care about the city belonging to all, citizens who say they want resources to be available to all, are willing to set aside their fear, not be swayed by the powers that be in the shadow government and all the things that we cower to in Norfolk often, and are willing to come together, good people win.
Organizing alone doesn't always do it. And I'm a lawyer, so all I do is be pessimistic. But one of the big things is to be educated about what the play is. When you hear certain dog whistles, or when you see certain people talking about certain things in campaigns, it's important, like you did, and a lot of us did, to be look, what people are really saying when they say that is this: tell all your friends, and then come out and vote. So the Virginia election system, since we're all in Norfolk, we're talking about Virginia, it is optimized to reduce turnout. We don't have all of our elections once every 4 years. We have elections every calendar year, every year, and what that means is we all get tired. I mean, I'm an elected official, and I start having trouble keeping track. And to say nothing if I were working 3 jobs. So, but get out, do a couple of Google searches at least, like talk to your friends, figure out what's up, and go out. The key thing to push when we are talking to our friends and our neighbors is vote.
I told you he's sneaky and something's going on in that office and it's fishy. I told you fools worshiping a fool. I told you hasn't been a year and the repercussions of your ego has shown you no favor.
You chose for Mr. Cheeto to be in the office, but now he's taking all the cheddar.
How does it feel? Karma calls you out every day, shouting at you through the news chyron. You're not safe either. I told you.
Your jobs burned down.
Your taxes burn high, and you thought ICE would be the solution to your problems? Your leader don't give a care who suffer. I told you.
You protest against your past decisions, but life is a book that you can't rewrite. Now innocent ink stains concrete pages.
Like children spending chapters in concentration camps. But we told you that the red side resembles the wrath of hell, willing to kill, steal, or destroy simply for profit. But we know you don't read. Unless the print is made by bigoted hands, pleading for an orange man to give you grace. Foolish to believe that a bulldozer would take heed to just another tree. I told you.
His lies leave scar on lies, wanting shot so many times.
You don't care about our second-hand opinion because you want to keep your second law to shoot.
But now the gun is to your head.
And y'all put him in office anyway?
But
we told you. That Little Miss Silk Press was a better chance of revival than Mr. Make America Great Again. Now America must find out the hard way. It was never great. Some were just luckier than most, but I promise soon you will see what we all knew. That America is great for the rich.
And getting rich is getting harder every day. And America is great for landowners.
But they ruin our land in every way. And America is great for the 1% who take everything they see, hear, and taste.
I'm 12 and adults 3 times my age still can't get the bigger picture.
Just turned 18 and my country's fate was at stake a year too early.
But this is who you chose. So as America burns down due to your leader's actions,
nuclear warheads flying, turning our country into his personal game of battleships, we'll find a bunker. I told you these warning shots weren't a joke. America's future is a hard pill to swallow, but I'd rather do that than choke.
We had to check in with the community. We had to check in. So, and part of the check-in, we did a project with them, but I'm still here. This is family. This wasn't a job. We didn't do a project. So, all right, thank y'all. We got a document. We're gone. We're still here trying to be in the community. We're still in other places across the country trying to make sure that we have the proper things that our community needs. We need fresh vegetables. And the majority of our community, you don't see trucks backing up. So if you don't see trucks backing up to the stores that our community is going to, then what are they feeding us from these stores? What are our people eating? When are we getting fresh vegetables? When are we getting fresh foods? And where are these foods coming from? And part of the voting process is making sure that we can vote that we do have clean air, clean water, and that our neighborhood doesn't get flooded only, and that the rest of the city, they got protection from floods. Why can't we get on this side of town protection from floods? So it's a lot that I could add on to, but the main thing is Katrina20.com. That's what we're doing on August 29th to remember those that were lost. But we came here specifically because we said if there was another place where we can warn people about the disasters of hurricanes and the potential of another Hurricane Katrina, where would it be? It was Norfolk. This is where the sea level is rising, where it could be a sunny day and be flooding. The city is actually sinking, and we had the whole documentary about when folks came over here and they just filled up the holes from England, just fill up the holes, and we know that sea level finds its own level. So this is a place where we have to prepare our people, and we have to sound the alarm about what's going on. And to get ready for whatever things are happening in our communities and prepare them. So we're not just fighting when we talk about violence, I'm gonna turn it over to my brother. Talk about violence. There's environmental justice violence being perpetrated on us. When people put power plants in our communities and dumping sites in our community, and they just want to dump their waste in our communities. I remember literally being in Chicago and seeing, matter of fact, our guild gardens, the yellow wall. So when I went there in Chicago, here knowing the history, I'm like, oh man, all these names of people that got killed, got shot. I'm like, oh my God, this the hood. It's like, nah, bro, ain't that. You watching too much TV. These are names of people that died from cancer. Environmental injustice in our communities. So while everybody looking on this social media, oh, who got shot? Who's fighting? And we look at the numbers of police violence, but we're not looking at all of the deaths, the silent deaths that are happening from the environmental injustice in our communities. So when I watch Eric Garner get choked out by the cops in New York, we saw him get choked out, but we didn't see his baby get choked out from air pollution that caused her to have an asthma attack and then a heart attack and die. We just saw the father get choked out, but we didn't see the silent death that took her out right after him. So these are the fights that we're in amongst all the other fights, and we are against fossil fuel companies, and we fight against a lot of the fossil fuel companies, and we don't take money for those communities or organizations that hurt our community.
Let me just bring out
dirty land, dirty air, and now dirty water. Families and friends downtown don't have any water because city officials and downtown workers that they put in charge rather build landfills and burn fossil fuels for a little bit more money that doesn't even benefit us as the people. We still have poisonous waste and chemicals seeping through our pipelines, daring to strike at our lifelines. They continue to crash our environment and abuse our resources. Instead of planting more oxygen so that we can breathe, they're chopping down trees and cutting the supply. Streets and cars are flooded, but they're too worried about their pockets being filled while we're being billed. We can't even get any clean water or go a day without flooding because they're so spilled from this ideal that the people they are supposed to support are struggling. We're stuck in time like frozen water that's ice because them people downtown don't want to hear no poor people advice. They're taking our phones at school, but this dirty water is slowly taking away the lives of people and animals around us. We used to live so safe and sound, not worrying where our next clean drink would come from. We have a public health crisis, but we're shushed like mice when we bring it up. In their minds, there's more important things to do than keep these pipes clean. They're worried about iPads, but we can't see our car floor pads because they're so full from rain that it's damaged beyond repair. Just like this economy that's slowly learning into despair. Do you see it? Because we do. Do you see it? Because there's something tragic that we're going through. To those that are in charge, how about you use your power to do what is right? Don't just talk a good game and not back it up because those that put you in office are heavily depending on you. You need to take action. You need to hear us through because if you don't, soon our water won't be so pretty and clear. Only gloomy and murky, then what will we do? One day the pipes won't run and kids won't know what it means to have a fun water day in the sun. All they know is having to filter their water before pouring it up on top of their ice in a cup. Is that what you want for our future? Not for you or for me, but for everyone to see, to live in a world that's heavily polluted and filled with disparity. There are places where some have access to filtered water and some do not. We have to put this worldwide crisis to a stop before it's too late. Because once the clock stops, that might be our last clean water drop. To drink, to bathe, to run, to play, our community will soon go bankrupt, but not in wealth. But our water will be gone forever because it's not a renewable resource. We need to act on this now. We need to become a bigger force for us, our families, friends, and more. Because soon, clean water may not be a thing for us anymore.